Hello and welcome. My name is Pete, and today we are going to be looking at another aspect of the wonderful multi-award winning stamp and spin tool. Now, if you've not seen the tool before, or you don't know about it, there are overview videos. There are all sorts of videos demonstrating different aspects of this tool and thereby demonstrating its versatility. Today we're going to be looking at creating a wreath, which we've done already, but we're going to be looking at masking techniques as well, because it really does extend your creative horizons, as it were. Now, I've got my base tool, of course, is the stencil and stamp tool. There's lots and lots of information about this wonderful tool on the Sizzix website, so go to the usual sources for that. I've put a piece of card onto my sticky grid sheet, which is a low tack sheet, and I'm going to bring my stamp and spin tool into play, and that's just going to sit on the card like that. I have created this illustration of what the wheel actually looks like. It's slightly smaller, just so I'm not going right to the edge of this card, but it gives you an indication. So we look at these concentric circles. That will give you an idea of the size of your wreath. The black lines, the solid lines, they show you the individual clicks. So you're making 8 clicks to create a circle. And also we have the dotted lines, which are quarters. That comes in more with pattern building, and there's a video on pattern building. You might want to check that one out as well. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to build a wreath, and we're going to take a stamp. Now, if you've been stamping for a while, or if you're even slightly conversant with the art of rubber stamping, making a mask is something that people love to do. And this is a tip that I got off a good friend of mine, Susie Duncan. Thank you, Susie. Is there anything she doesn't know about these kind of things? Smart lady. So what I'm going to do, I'm not taking much care and attention really. I'm going to ink up this stamp, and it is, of course, 2 pairs with a lovely leaf. And I'm using a sticky notelet. Now, the reason I'm doing that, this is where the adhesive part is. I'm going to place that down like that, take it away, and that gives me a stamped image. Now, when I cut around that, we call it fussy cutting in rubber stamping. When I cut around that, it gives me a mask, but it gives me a mask that is adhesive, so it's not going to move around on my project. So that's clever stuff. Thank you for that little tip there. Now, let's clean up my stamp, because I want to put it around, say, something like that. And I'm going to build a wreath around it. Now, the stamp and spin, at the end of the day, it's a stamping platform. So it's going to pick up your stamp. We're going to ink and then make a mark like that. Because it's a stamping platform, if that image were imperfect, I could re-ink and I could go back in, which is fantastic. Now let's take that, because we're going to build a wreath around this. But of course, if I do that, I'm going to come across the image, and that's something I want to avoid at all costs. So I'll take my mask, and I've just cut this. Now, some people like to use a small pair of scissors. Some folks like to use a craft knife. That's entirely up to you, my friends. So let's choose. Okay, I'm going to come in with a leaf, and it's going to come over the top like so. And again, I bring that down, I ink, and I carry on, and I make the second one. Now you notice when we're doing this, there will be kind of gaps in between, but that's all right, because we're going to fill those gaps with other stamps from other collections. And the collections I'm using today, there are 4, and they are designed by Lisa Jones, her Botanical collection. So there's the garden botanicals, the botanical fruit. There are the wonderful set of butterflies as well as the sentiments. And they're all designed by the same designer. They're all designed with the same kind of line quality so that you can mix them together and they're not going to look. Sometimes you get different stamps in different styles and you can't, you just can't balance them. You can't mix them together because it looks odd. But you can see where we've fussy cut here, where we've added that down. So what that means now is that where I've stamped this leaf, it hasn't gone over the top. It's kind of sitting behind my pears. Now, we've got a circle there. That's coming along nicely. We can add to that, and I haven't planned this out at all. It's all in the lap of the gods, which is absolutely fine by me. I think what I'm going to do is maybe add a smaller leaf to that. I'm just having a look at my stash here. There's so many options available to me. Let's maybe that. How's that looking? Yeah, you know what? I could add that and then add a flower. But I think I will go. I will go with this smaller one, or maybe add the flower first. Actually, let's take this lovely flower like that. Yeah, that's spot on. That's spot on. That's what I want. So it's one of those tools which encourages experimentation. It really is. It's always going to be great. There's no rights and wrongs. It's going to be different every time. So we'll just keep on going like that. And you can see that this has now filled the gap there. If you decide maybe, you know what, maybe I would like another one. Maybe I'll stick that little leaf in there like so. So we can pick that up. So now we've got 2 on the go. And then we'll make ink and some. So see the difference is starting to make it kind of, because this is circular and that adds just a little more interest as it's coming. Maybe you could also have one going into the center as well. But the thing is now we're going to come back around and we're going to cross over onto this. Now this time I don't need the flower. That's absolutely fine. But I'll just carry on, and what is the fun bit is taking away that lovely mask and seeing where that's left us. There we are. One more. Now, there we are. That's it. That's why we keep that mask in place. So you see where we stamped over the top of that. Now, if I take that away, you'll notice that they're all sitting behind. And the proof is in the pudding. Let's take a look at some projects which support. No, you know what? I'm gonna do my next one, and we're gonna come back and look at those. No, I can't resist. There we are. So it's very similar. It's using the same kind of thing, but in a very different way. And see what I mean about it being different every single time. There we are. We just used some blue watercolor paint on that to create that wreath, albeit slightly smaller. So sentiment in the center as well. Sentiment stamps, of course, one of Lisa's sets which work with the rest of these. I really like that. That's looking good. So I'm going to take this away and color this in. You'll probably see it at some point, no doubt. But I want to look at something else. I want to make a smaller wreath this time, but I'm going to move the mask every single time. Let's bring in our illustration again, and I'm going to make a wreath just using one of these. Now, if we think of this segment here as one rotation of the tool, when I do that, bringing it right in close to the center, you'll notice that this is wider than that segment. So what does that mean from a stamping or wreath point of view? Well, we'll see. Let's put that down there and make my stamp. Now, of course, I've done exactly as before. And I've fussy cut this using my sticky note lid. So I'm going to place that down carefully. And then on the next spin, you'll notice, because I put them close together, that's going to cross over like that. But they haven't overlapped because I'm using this lovely mask. And it's adhesive, so you can reuse it. There we are. Make my next spin. And there we have it. Isn't that cool? The way that works. I don't know why it always surprises me or takes my breath away, but it's just such a fun effect. And it looks like it's been created when you finish it, when you come to the end, it looks like it's been created with a single stamp. So you can just keep going and going and going with that until you create something like that, which is a combination, of course, of our large pairs, which we saw earlier, and that smaller pair. And each time we're using the mask. So it looks here like some of the pairs are sitting behind, some have come to the front, and of course this as the focal, then we would finish that off, of course, with a sentiment. It's just a really, really cool technique. But there is one other masking technique that I do want to share with you, because it's kind of about pattern building rather than making a wreath. And let's stamp with one of my butterflies. Now, I'll stamp this time I'm taking this, and I'm just using this now like a stamping platform. No, do you know what? I've changed my mind. I'm going to put that in the center just to save a bit of time. And let's put that slap bang in the middle of my project, and we'll bring that down to make sure that's lined up. There, so that is right in the center. And I'll ink that up as before. So this now becomes the central focus of my project, that lovely, lovely butterfly. And here is a mask that I created, again, using the sticky note lid. So I'll pop that down. And I'm going to build a pattern around this. So this isn't so much about wreath building, it's about pattern building. And I'll take one of these lovely stamps. This one is very delicate, almost like a kind of like wildflower vibe. And we'll put this again from the center. So you see where that screw is there? We're going to build it, and this kind of builds on what we were doing with the whole pattern building in one of our other videos. Now this time I'm not going in with the black. This is a gray. This is shadow gray archival ink. And we'll bring that down, make a click, again, bring it down. So we're going to build with this pattern from the center and work out like so. And it's a lovely, organic, natural pattern. I know that Lisa, the designer of these, is very inspired by nature. She's a proper nature girl. She's always out and about. We have actually met a couple of times walking the dog, actually. So there you go. So there we are. Let's take that off. I'll clean that stamp up, and we're going to build out from there. We're going to use, or could I use? Actually, let's use this one. This is one we used in one of our previous videos, and it's kind of like a sheaves of corn. And again, we're going with the gray. Again, keeping this very kind of monochromatic, but I'll be interested to see how this pans out when we take away our mask, because it's all about that mask in the center. And you can see every time the ink, or the stamp rather, is going across that mask. Now this you could cut out with a circle. We could build that, we could continue to build outwards from the center, but I'm going to take that away, and wow, That is really cool. So if I stamped that in gray and went with black on the outside, that would be super, super dramatic. I've got some examples to show you. Again, these are projects that have yet to find a home. But we've used the same butterfly there, and we've used other butterflies, so a medium, a smaller one. Then we've used those sheaves on the outside. So we built a pattern, and then we built a wreath to encircle that. Now, you could use a circle framelit die to cut that down. You could trim it down into a square or rectangle, whatever you want. And these are just further examples using that one. Wow, I mean, that is just bonkers. We started with one, and then we just used that mask to build around that all the way. Again, some other florals, some different fronds, some lovely flowers. And finally, that is the one that we started out with. So it's another technique, masking. Yeah, you can use multiple masks, you can use multiple overlays, play around with it, build all these just creative universes. And having a tool like this, that really does allow you to be playful, to be creative explorers, I suppose. I'm still finding things out about this tool. Probably about, I think it's about 9 months I've been working with this on and off now. And there's something new every day to discover. So thank you for joining me today. Of course, this is one of several instructional videos showing how to get the best out of the tool. And I've been Pete. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon.